I would like to welcome to the stage the owner of that small garage. Please put your hands together for the CEO of SellerCloud, Jeremy Greenberg.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Eric. My name is Jeremy Greenberg. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about me. Basically, I was a guy from the garage. I still don't work out of the garage, thankfully. At one point, I moved from the garage to behind an ice cream store, and then eventually we switched offices another 3 times. Working out of the garage wasn't so bad. It was a little tricky sometimes where you had to hold on to your desk because if you let go, your chair would roll across the room because it was on a slope. But basically, it worked. It was kind of difficult sometimes working from home, but since then we've come a long way. We have beautiful offices, we have a lot of windows, and I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. At one point, some people thought that the event was going to be in our office, and thank God we have a lot more people here. We wouldn't all fit in our office. It's not that big. Not yet, but it's great that everyone came out. We have clients here came as far as California, Florida. I apologize for the cold weather. It is supposed to be April, but we have around 200 companies represented here. From those companies, we have a variety of people, a range of people. Some of them are account executives, some of them are the owners, founders of the companies, some of them are e-commerce salespeople or buyers. We appreciate that everyone came out, and I think all of you have something to gain at this event. We even have some interesting titles that people put while they were registering, like Director of Things and Stuff, and some other colorful ones. These are all real people. If you look at people's badges, you should see, you should be able to find them somewhere in the crowd here. Before we get into the user interface, I just wanted to share a little bit about my background, the company's background. Like Eric said, we, have humble beginnings, and basically, at the very beginning, it was a struggle to handle the expansion, and I was doing a lot of things myself for quite some time, and even when I had some help, probably wasn't enough help. As a bootstrapped company, it's really a challenge. But when the company was first forming, the focus was really on giving solutions to customers, on functionality. And there wasn't really an emphasis on making it look elegant or making it easy to use. The focus was really getting things done, and that's really what people needed the most. And at some point in time, it became clear that our user interface really needed a little bit of a facelift. It needed to be modernized and using the latest techniques. But as the system grew bigger and bigger, it got harder and harder to go back and redesign all of those pages and at the same time still focus on the customer's day-to-day needs. So we literally have over 1,000 pages in the SellerCloud application. I know everyone doesn't use all of the pages, but everyone uses a combination depending on what business they're using. And it was really a challenge how to approach it, even though I knew I needed to do something. So the first thing I did is I hired a graphic designer, a full-time graphic designer. It's only been a few years since I've had one. I probably needed one a long time ago. But I realized very quickly it wasn't enough. I needed a team of people dedicated to the task. But at the same time, I had a challenge. How am I going to get that done, without taking away from the day-to-day needs of the customers? We have to keep on running our business and growing with the business that we have and helping people with their existing workflows. And how can we do it without distracting people? So what I did is I literally opened another office, an office of creative people who had experience with graphic design, experience with user experience, testing, and focusing dedicated to this task. And it wasn't enough even to do that. I needed to take some key people some of my best people. One of them, Isaac Ponte, actually started with me in that garage. And it was a little more, maybe more challenging because it wasn't exactly working from home for him. But I took Isaac Ponte. I have to give him a lot of credit, because without him, this wouldn't have happened. And also Stan Stayanov, who's our chief designer. So thankfully, we've come a long way, and without making you wait too much longer, let's take a look. So I'd like to go into a little bit of the details. That ran pretty fast. We'll show it again at the end. But I want to go over some of the principles of user interface design. And just to be clear, so that everyone understands, a user interface, it's not the actual part of the system that does the integrations with eBay. It's the actual part that you touch and you feel. It's the screen that you use, and no one should be nervous that all of a sudden, all their integrations are going to have to be redone or anything like that. A user interface is almost like the skin of the program, and we'll go a little bit deeper than the skin level, but right now we're going to focus on the part of the system that you interface with. We all know that SellerCloud is working even when we're sleeping. It's still downloading orders and updating inventory. This is really focusing on the user interface, the part that you use, right? And how it's going to make it easier for you to get your work done. So going into the details of the user interface, we'll go over some of the awesome features that we have. And the way I'm going to present it is really to go based on the principles that we used to actually do it. So I'm going to list off some of these principles here. There's aesthetics, make it look nicer, clarity, familiarity, responsiveness, forgiveness, sorry about that one, consistency, concision, and efficiency. Starting with aesthetics, it looks nicer. This is the first dashboard that you see when you log into the new user interface. Basically, you'll see some stats, some key information, and also be able to navigate to what you need to do. We gave you the ability to resize the screen. You no longer need to have a 29-inch monitor to use SellerCloud. It'll work on a tablet, an iPad, and we noticed we've been tracking how people are using SellerCloud. More and more people are using other devices, and the way the system works is there are different panels, and they'll stack vertically instead of across, and it's it was a major thing. Clarity, client settings. I'm sure everyone who's used SellerCloud has nightmares about client settings. What we've done is we've categorized them. As you see on the left, you'll see they're categorized, but also you could search the client settings on the top right. As you actually change a client setting, check one of those checkboxes. You don't have to remember which one you checked. Maybe you checked the wrong one. Over here, it's actually, as you check something, it changes color. And then the save button shows. If there's nothing to save, you don't need to see the save button. We also explain what the client settings mean. If you hover over the client setting, we'll actually explain what it does. That's a creative idea. If you'll notice on the top left, there's also a toggle for advanced. What we've done is we've hidden most of the client settings that are not pertinent, not relevant to the average customer. They're still available, but it's not overload of settings. And some of the settings we actually just completely hid entirely. And, we've used a new set of icons that make sense to people. They use visual elements that are metaphors, and it just makes it easier, more intuitive to use. The login, you probably noticed that in the video. We've unified the login. So you'll be able to just simply go to login.sellercloud.com, and we'll figure out how to log you into the right system. We're using a team name to log into the system, similar to people who've used Slack or some other applications like that. The team name represents your organization. If you don't have a team name yet, you can just click, I don't have a team name. As long as you're the administrator, you could set one. And what that does is it identifies where to log you in. When I first started, we used to name the servers, jg.cwa.sellercloud. It's a little confusing. Doesn't really make sense to people that you have to log in like that. Someone thought it was cute to name the servers after people. So JG, we have an HH, we have an AS, and pretty much all the key employees have some server named after you. It's not so funny when someone says JG needs a hardware upgrade or JG needs a reboot or something. But so basically, this makes it easier, and basically we unified the logins so that no matter which application you're using, you could actually go to teamname.sellercloud.com or teamname.skewstack.com. All the applications are going to work exactly the same, and it feels a little bit more personalized for your organization, that you're logging into something that makes sense, something that you feel more ownership of. And we even have the ability, if someone has a dedicated server, of personalizing the background image and things like that. We can take it a step further. Turnstocks, a lot of you don't know what Turnstock is. There's a workshop later. But basically, we have a series of applications that are going to be discussed in workshops. But the key is that the experience should be consistent. And it should make sense. Familiarity, part of it is making clear what needs to be done next. We've using wizards where you can actually be guided, when you're creating a purchase order, you're creating a new customer, all the different steps, one step at a time, which makes it a lot clearer. And we're going to try to make more and more wizards to common things that people try to do so that it's clear how the different pieces fit together. Right? And it should really be clear how to do things often without any instructions. Over here, use of imagery, makes it more intuitive, and that's really what we're trying to do with the new user interface. Entering a credit card number. Responsiveness. The interface should provide good feedback. So if you look over here at this slide, maybe it's a little hard to see, but when the email address is typed, it turns red for a minute as long as it's invalid. And we're trying to give instant feedback so that it's, you don't have to hit the save button and then wait and then be told that there's some kind of error message. No one likes to see an error message, and everyone makes mistakes. So we're trying to eliminate a lot of those mistakes and things that could trip people up. I'm not starting over again. This is the client settings again. And basically, one of the things we do is after we save anything, we have a notification panel on the top, which makes it clear that it was successful. If there was an error, it's always anchored in the top over there. And instead of the way it used to be where it would show you a message and shift everything down and look a little messy. This way you can train your eye, where to train your eye to look for a response. So just like we have sometimes you do something successful, we show you a notification. If you do something wrong, like enter the wrong password, over here we give you a little shake. But basically it's an intuitive response that just makes sense to people. Forgiveness, back to forgiveness. So don't punish the users for the mistakes, right? Give them a chance to fix it. If you're here, you'll see someone's trying to delete their warehouse, and we're warning them. But it really means give you a chance to fix it without calling support. Consistency, Whether you're looking at a product, a purchase order, a sales order, there should be a consistent look and feel. So as you navigate the system, you should know where you can reach the action menu, where you can see a tab. Everything should make sense and be consistent. The same with a vendor, or whether you're looking at an employee even, right? We've created a certain level of consistency. If you see over there, we also added those little pills under the headers that give you key bits of information that make it easier to see. Oh, no more pop-ups, okay? No one likes pop-ups, but one of the big problems with pop-ups is that they divert your attention. You have too many windows open, right? This is the way it is in the original system, right? In the new user interface, right, we use modal windows. Keeps you focused on the task at hand. It's more intuitive, and that's a consistent approach used across the new user interface. Concision. Over here, everyone's familiar with the 75 filters. We give you every option. We have, just last week, someone asked for another couple filters. What we've done in the new user interface is, if you go to the Manage Inventory page, you could see we're showing you the key filters that you need. We give you the ability to add filters. Right under, there's the standard filters, the default filters we call them, and then you have custom filters, and you can add them. So if you want to search by UPC, you can actually look up that one, and then you can actually see soon. You're not going to have to always look up the filters. Don't worry about that. We'll show you in a second that there's a way to save those filters. Placing the items, right, that people are looking for in easy reach. Right? Everyone's used to, in the original interface, that you have to scroll down a long list of values to find the one that you're looking for. Some people learned the trick that if you type a letter, maybe it'll jump there. But what we've done over here is we give you the ability to actually pin things or favorite things. So if you look up a list, aside from being able to actually type a couple letters, multiple letters actually, and find the tab that you're looking for in the toolbox, you can actually favorite it so that every time you load that page, that tab from the toolbox will be available and load automatically. The menu, right? Everyone's seen the menu. Every once in a while we add another item in the menu and everything shifts over. What we've done is we've anchored the menu on the left. We give you the ability to collapse it. We also give you the ability to customize it. So the ones that are commonly used are available right away. You'll see over there on the list it says show more. You can see the ones that are uncommon. But then again, if you use something frequently, you can customize the menu. All this is per user. So you can customize that experience. And it also saves space so you can see what you really want to look at. We expanded on the idea of saved searches, like I was mentioning about the custom filters. What we did is we took the saved search, which gave you the ability to take a filter and to save that filter so you could use it over and over again. And what we did is we combined the ability to customize the columns that display in the results and also customize the custom filters that show. So basically, let's say, for example, someone's looking at shipped orders. He can set it up so that in the results, it'll show the columns that are relevant, the carrier, the tracking number, the ship date. And he can save those to a saved view together with, let's say, a filter that says, show me, the orders that shipped in the last 24 hours. At the same time, if he wants to see dropship orders, he can set the columns to be the vendor that was dropshipped by, the dropship status. The same is true for saved views for everything. Anytime you can search in SellerCloud, you can now create these saved views, and they work consistently whether you're trying to get a saved view of products, of orders, purchase orders, and you can customize that experience for yourself. We simplified the paging. That's what in the video we referenced the infinite scroll. So basically, if you go to the bottom of the page, we'll actually show you the immediate next results and the next results. It's obviously not exactly infinite. There's a limit to everything, but people, don't want to have to page. They don't know which page they have to go to. We're basically defaulting it to show the infinite scroll. We still have an option. If you toggle that infinity symbol, you can go back to the paging, but we're betting on the fact that people like the infinite scroll. Being able to find things quickly. So one of the things we noticed is that sometimes people don't know exactly what they're looking for even, but they should still be able to find it quickly. So we wanted to make almost like a Google type of search, but within your business. So what we did is we created what's called a morphing search. Some people who are used to WhatsApp or Google Docs, they're familiar with this, where you're searching and it might show you results across multiple types of things. So in this case, if you search for a camera, it'll show you how to navigate to that product. It'll show you related orders. Or if you search for a person's name, it'll show you the customer record, the order, and you can actually customize which things show in the results of the morphing search. Now, the same keyword search that you could do in the search that's anchored on the top works on every single search page. So if you're searching for a specific product and you're looking at a list of orders, it'll actually filter the orders to that product or that customer. It'll work in the exact same experience. We took it even a step further, that you could even search for a page in the system to avoid the need for the navigation menu. You can search for the word warehouse over here, and it'll show you how to navigate to manage warehouses. Efficiency, right? We want you to be the most productive you could be. So what we did is in the action menu, we gave you the ability to pin certain actions that are frequently used to the top. Now, every time you look at an order, let's say you do ship via FBA, you'll be able to pin that action. It'll be at the top of the list, or cancel order. Hopefully you're not doing that too much, but you'll see that at the top of the list. All these things are saved to your user profile. The same is true with the dashboard. If you would say, I want to see what my sales were like in the last 7 days, it'll remember that for next time. The last 30 days, it'll default to that. So we're giving you the ability to customize these things, and it remembers it in your user profile. App switcher. People who use Google Apps are probably familiar with something like this. Basically, what we did is we wanted to unify our apps. Right? We created SKU Stack, we created Turnstock, we have a couple other things in mind, which we'll talk about later this afternoon. And we wanted to unify them. So if you're logged into one and you have a subscription to the other, you can easily navigate to the other one. We wanted to go a step further, is that you can also navigate back to the original user interface. Like I said at the beginning, the new user interface doesn't fundamentally change the features that were in the original user interface. We've set them up to work with your current workflow so that you're not forced to change. There are likely going to be people who are using the original user interface for a long time to come because they're used to it or for whatever reason, but we wanted to have them run in tandem so that you could switch back and forth. If you ever get stuck on something in the new user interface, you can easily just go to the app switcher and click that link, and you end up back in the original user interface. We're always trying to improve. One of the reasons we have you here is to open up the dialogue, make sure we get feedback so we can even improve further. One of the things we did in the new user interface is we actually gave you the ability to leave feedback or request support from within the application. So if you go to the footer of the page, no matter what page you're looking at, and click the little I over there, you can have version information, what page you're on, what product you were looking at, automatically included in your submission. So we know we have all this background information. Instead of emailing support and then they ask you, which product was it? Give me an example. So we've eliminated a lot of this back and forth by capturing all this information that we have available. If there's an error message on the page, we can grab that as well and include that within the submission. But experience has taught that it's always a work in progress, and we rely on your feedback to really improve, keep on improving the system even further. Basically, I just wanted to clarify that no one's being forced to switch to the new user interface. It's something that it's available to everyone. Today's the release date, but it's something that you could easily switch back and forth. And if someone wants to actually get special support or get more involved with the new user interface, we have a page, sellercloud.com/UI for user interface, where they can register and be in contact with someone who will follow up with them to review the new user interface with them, any questions they have. And we're continuously making improvements. Right now, not all 1,000 pages have been converted over. We took the most critical pages, the most common pages, and we created a framework here. It's going to take probably till the end of the year before all of the pages are transferred over. But we have basically a hybrid. When you're in the new user interface, and we've been able to embed the original system within, so if you're on a page that hasn't been fully redesigned, you'll sort of have like a hybrid type of experience. But it's SellerCloud/UI, and you can see exactly, we'll give you sort of, if you're interested and you have the time, we can give you a first look at new features and what's coming next. And we really want to be in touch with everyone and want everyone's participation. Once again, I have to thank all the people that made this happen. Obviously, I didn't do everything, but the truth is I didn't do most of it. I have to really give credit to the people, the development team, the management team, and even this event, the people who organized all the details. It's going to be fabulous, and I really hope everyone enjoys it. I'm going to play the video again, and then right after that, Eric's going to introduce some of the other speakers, and we have a great great program today.